All right, you gotta stop adding this frequency range to your mixes, especially to your bass, if you want to avoid muddy mixes. So if you don't know me yet, I'm Björkman Benediktsson, the founder of Audio Issues and author of Step by Step Mixing, and I'm here to help you confidently finish your mixes so you can be proud to release your records. Today, we're going to talk about how I know that you want weight in your mixes, power in the low mids and the low end, but sometimes your mix will suffer because you add too much of this frequency range to your bass, and it sounds all cluttered up and muddy in the low mids. All right, let me show you inside the DAW here. I just pulled up a random session. This is Peter Adamov Cardas that I featured in the Mix Finisher Formula course, but it has a fun bass track and it's just a fun production overall. So I thought I'd show you sort of how this frequency range can adversely affect the low mids build up and sort of ends up cluttering up a lot of the low mids in general. So I'm just going to add this to the mix bus so that you can hear it, and then I'll show you how it is on the bass and where you want to maybe add frequency ranges or add and boost in particular other frequency ranges to add tone and low weight without causing muddiness in your mixes. So you can hear when you add 159 hertz, which is obviously going to go all the way down to into the lows in general and up into the mids overall, but you can hear how more clouded up the mix sounds there. However, and if you do this on the bass, I think I basically did exactly what I recommend in the bass track. Instead of adding weight in the low mids, I add tone in the mids in 330 and then hear clarity in the string sound or so, adding additional clarity and definition for the bass because it's that sort of bass track. And then in the EQ section here, I'm actually boosting in the lows at 90 and below. So that's where you get that thickness in the lows without muddiness in the low mids. So if you try to just avoid 100 to 200 to start with and try to sculpt your bass by adding lows and mids instead, you might end up with a less cluttered and muddy mix. So let's hear that just on the bass in general. So check out the difference between adding a bunch of 50 hertz, and then obviously that will gradually add some stuff up to 150. But you can also make this a shelf if you want, which is really what this is. But the more I push the lows in, the harder the compressor functions. So that's kind of not the best way to demonstrate it. I'm going to show it to you on this EQ instead. But basically, if you add the lows to get heaviness and bass, and then you add tone in the mids at 300, 330, 330 is kind of a personal preference of mine, and then at 800, you'll add that attitude to the bass. So next time you're working on a mix, make sure that you don't just automatically add more low mids to the bass instruments, because that's the easiest way to get to a muddy mix immediately, and we don't want that. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. Hope that shed some light on how to avoid muddy mixes. If you want my mix translation cheat sheet or my mix finisher cheat sheet that helps you get your mixes sounding great on every speaker system, and now that you know how to avoid the muddy mixes on the bass, they'll sound even better on every speaker system. And if you want my mix translation formula, if you will, go to mixfinisher.com and download it there. All right, I'm Björkman Benediktsson from Audio Issues. Thanks for watching.